Hello, everybody. We're back for LFG episode 2 and 3. We're making this a joint venture for reasons that we will disclose in just a little bit.
This is our first Goofin' Twofer here.
Goofin' Twofer!
It's just me and Hannah.
It is.
Just me and Hannah today.
It is. Unfortunately, Tucker has the flu. It's called, the rust flu.
The rust flu. Cut to gameplay.
Yo, what up? Hey. I love Metal Gear Solid.
Tucker's intense gameplay.
Yeah, so send him your well wishes. But he's fine. He's in the room across from me, and he's doing just fine. Anyway, I guess let's address...
They live together. I don't know if that's ever been established. Oh, I guess it has in the edits.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
We do Tucker and I do live together. So I'll explain a little bit why it's taken us so long to do episode 2 and now 3. 4 just aired tonight because we're recording Sunday, March 8th. 9th.
10:38 p.m.
Yeah. Let me just say that this comes off with complete peace and love. I love the contestants. They're all great. But the problem lies in the fact that the show is not very good.
No.
Yeah, we thought via the ads, we kind of got, marked out a little bit because we fell for the ads looking good, meaning that it was going to be an exciting, Tough Enough 2. It is not Tough Enough 2. It is so barely produced, it's insane. It's genuinely a very boring show. So, we've been dragging our feet.
It's so devoid of anything.
It really is, and it's crazy because, the whole point of a reality show is the production, is over,
or even a competition show.
Yeah, that too. Is overproducing it and making sure you've got stings and you've got some drama. And I understand if they want to keep things a little more realistic, and also it's A&E. So an A&E isn't a girl channel. They're not gonna have a lot of drama or RuPaul's Drag Race or anything like that. But anyway, all of that to explain that from now on, we're probably not gonna do dedicated episodes unless the episode is really good. We're gonna bundle 2 and 3, and then we'll get to 4 when we get to it. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, also we were on vacation.
That's right. I did. I went to New Orleans and I had a lot of fun. A little too much fun. Got a lot of libations. So it took me a week to recover from that. Also, Zach's been having some hardships. So,
I was just gonna say I went to Michigan.
Oh,
I went to
that
Monster
was the hardship that I meant. Yeah, yes. You going to that fucking monster truck show and having to pay $70 for parking. If that's not a hardship, I don't know what is.
Having to pay $80 for parking and $12 for a Detroit-style slice of Little Caesars pizza. That was my hardship.
So all of that to say, we apologize for the delay and that we didn't, keep this a consistent thing. This show is just very boring, and thus it makes us not want to do it. But we're going to, for you guys, because we know. And Shiloh, I know you liked our tweet. I hope you can understand it's not you guys at all. Production has just kind of...
no, they fucked you guys for real.
They fucked you guys for real.
They really fucked you guys.
They fucked you guys for real. Okay, so, all that being said, let's go ahead and get into episode 2. This one, I'll just say it, this was 4 matches, and that's it. I watched this episode, skipped through it. Every time I skipped, it was just a different match, which is great. The matches themselves were fine.
It's about 5. Yeah, the first match was a live match. It was in front of a live crowd.
Yeah.
The commentators, I think I already knew this from episode 1, but Jerry Maborash commentates. He is a TNA legend and also the director of the Boneyard match.
One of my
important to note.
One of my favorite Taker matches of all time.
Okay, but this match is Danny Sikelski and Shiloh versus Tyra May and Anthony Luke. I found out through some research that Danny Sikelski, her real name is Danny Ray.
Yeah.
Why not just use your real name? The gimmick name is Danny Sikelski.
maybe it's like a Kozlov thing, like you just want to sound foreign, but you're not. Well,
She's the cheerleader.
I
What do you mean?
Yeah, that name should have gone to the Ukrainian girl, who I'm pretty sure. What is her name? That sounds.
I have it written down later.
Yeah. Well, this again, fine match. You know, I'll be honest with you guys. Zach has taken notes on episode 2. I didn't take notes for either episode.
Well, Tyra gets simple, but very effective heat during this match. She shows off a lot of those Olympic wrestling abilities. She picks the ankle. She does a duck under and then slams Danny, which actually popped me because that was what I did in wrestling. That's like the exact move that I used to do.
Zachary's old wrestling,
which is great.
Career coming up here.
My career, my storied career in high school wrestling. But then Tyra's sick of this shit, and she screams, "Enough!" and backs Tyra into the corner while screaming. Like that was what she did. She's like, "Enough!" And I don't know if that was supposed to get her like some kind of babyface reaction, but it didn't really get that. Everybody was just kind of confused.
Yeah.
And then Anthony goes into the ring without tagging in. And then we see Maxine Dupree in the crowd, which we later find out is Anthony's
we found
girlfriend.
that out in the first episode. Because he boasted about that. He's like, I'm Maxine Dupree, he's my girlfriend. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Tell me if I'm just being... Because this is a trend in these episodes.
Right.
And tell me if I'm just, like, completely losing it here. But whenever the boys are in the ring, it just looks like any indie match you'd find anywhere. And that's not horrible, but, like, it's so clear that all of the women on this show kind of have something special going on, at least.
Yes.
Like, something. And then when a lot of the dudes are in the ring, it's just, they're just a guy. Like, they, you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know if that has anything to do with the production. I don't know if that has anything to do with, like, with women's wrestling, you really have to stand out. Automatically you're at a level where you have to get the crowd invested into you. And I'm sure they know that. Because, you know,
Yeah.
as unfortunate as it is to say, a lot of the times, I mean, until very recently, even as a new wrestling fan, I understand that women's wrestling has not been taken seriously. Probably ever, until very, very recently, like a couple of years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
So, I think it's definitely part of, they start on a higher level, because they gotta start from fucking level 7. Level 7 Godfather mode, you know? They have to start. They have to hit the ground running.
Level 7 Godfather mode. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and with men, you know, they can just stand there, I guess. They're not worried when they should be, maybe.
Okay, I'm gonna kind of plow through the rest of this match because there's a confusing spot where the two guys are on lockup, and then Tyra goes off the top rope and hits them both, but just kind of lands.
Yeah.
And no, I don't know who messed that up, or if the whole spot's just fucked up.
I think the whole spot was just messed up. That seems like a very, like, indie wrestler kind of a screw up. I feel like I've seen that happen at indie shows.
And then Tyra starts complaining to Anthony, and then Shiloh just press slams Tyra into her. And then Anthony purposely trips on the ropes to distract the ref, it's just such a crazy way to distract the ref, just to pretend to trip and fall.
Yeah, that is a crazy way to distract.
Like not calling his name or like doing something like devious, like taking the what?
Sorry, can I ask you who the heels are and who the baby faces are?
It's Tyra and Anthony.
Okay, Tyra and Anthony are okay. Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, Tyra has Danny in a hold. Danny counters. And then Tyra has a very delayed sell, like incredibly delayed. But the finish is the girls just spill into the ring. Tyra tries to spear Danny, then ends up spearing Anthony instead. And then Danny spears Tyra. Charlotte hits the finisher, which is a double underhook into some kind of twist. and it looks exactly like the pedigree. And then Shiloh and Danny win.
Nice.
So it's kind of like the cold open, and then we go into the intro.
Can I also say it's confusing. The way this show is set up, there is an announcer who I'm assuming is fucking Joe Tessitore. I don't know if it is or not, but it sounds like him. But there's no overseer. There's kind of HBK, kind of, but there's
Is that
no
a host? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, there's no main guy directing okay, for this episode, campers, today we're gonna do a bunch of duck and rolls or fucking
I mean,
whatever.
I guess it is HBK, but he
doesn't do that.
He just kind of comes in and goes, "Oh yeah, well, that's what
And
we'll
it
do."
would have been so maybe HBK's busy running NXT, and that's not a developmental job anymore. That's a full on other brand now. So I'm sure he's absolutely swamped and busy. But it would have been cool if he would have been okay, so your challenge for today is blah blah blah. And maybe that does happen in episode 4, because I've seen sneak peeks of it, the episode that's airing today.
Yeah.
But it's too late. This should have been. This show feels sloppy, for lack of a better term, in terms of how it's set up and how everything transpires. To me, anyway, it's very hard to follow because in episode 1, we didn't have 4 matches in a row. You know what I mean? It's just with a cold open. Just odd, just a little odd.
So they reintroduced the rules of the game.
Lovely.
And this is where at least I figure out that there will be a belt awarded to the winner, the coach that wins.
That was
And
not
I don't think we know what that looks like yet, but that's got to be top 5 most embarrassing belts to have.
For sure.
Is the LFG belt.
For sure. With the mentioning of the belt on the second fucking episode, maybe that's not that big of a deal, but it feels like they didn't come up with anything beforehand. They just kind of hit the ground and ran with it, you know? Maybe that's part of it. It just feels like they're all coming up with stuff as it happens, instead of agonizingly planning this thing from the go. I'm guessing, which is kind of like how Tough Enough was. Maybe we should just watch Tough Enough and review that. The first season of Tough Enough.
Yeah, maybe. We're canceling this show and we're just gonna do Tough Enough. Because the contestants get drawn. I didn't put who goes where, but we'll figure it out as the episodes go.
Yeah.
But I had to skip through it because it was just the most boring part of the whole. They just were selecting names. That was it.
Unedited, pale. It's like this show is made by people from the BBC. Which, guys, I don't know if you've ever seen a reality or a competition show from BBC television. It's so unedited and so point blank, just bare. That's what this reminds me of a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very boring.
I mean, the only produced part of it is that, or seemingly the only produced part of it, is that all the contestants get drawn except for Elijah and BJ. And before the last 2 get drawn, for some reason, The Undertaker and Bubba have to have an aside about what to do if one of them gets BJ. They have to stop the whole show so that Bubba and Undertaker can go to the side of the ring, and for Bubba to be like, "So what do you think I should do if I get him?
Yeah.
Should I give him a clean slate or make him earn more respect?"
Taker said that?
No, Bubba says that, and Taker just goes. I was thinking the same thing, but then he doesn't. He never answers Bubba.
Dude,
which it doesn't matter.
I just say, Taker is so clocked out of this entire experience. He's just
he has dead eyes, fish eyes, the entire time. He doesn't want to be there.
Feels so bad for him. It's did you want to do this or not, bud? You could have stayed at home. You didn't have to come do the show if you didn't want to do it, bud. No, I want to do it. I'm still a wrestler. Oh, okay. But you look really bored.
So he it doesn't matter because BJ's on Bubba's team.
Yes.
And Bubba admits that BJ has potential, but he's got to wipe out that attitude. in order to
Which-
make BJ a star.
This is exactly this is perfect. With the drama that they have, perfect, right? Perfect team placement.
Right.
You'll see what happens with that in literally the next episode. So, anyway.
Holyfield talks about his love of wrestling, and then he talks about how he used to get pictures with all the wrestlers, but the only picture we see is him in a selfie with Hornswoggle. There's no other photos of him with wrestlers that they show.
Honestly, no, that's the best wrestler to meet, honestly. From what I've heard, he's awesome. I fucking love him.
Probably, yeah. So they break off into their teams, and they're teaching.
Yeah.
They're doing a little teaching time. I forget what move someone does on Booker's team, but Booker goes, "You see how that looks like shit?" Here, let me show you something.
Dude, I don't know
Which
how
I thought was great.
People should have been fighting tooth and nail to have Booker as their coach, and Mickey James.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Mickey James and Booker T should have had people fucking clawing at each other to be on their team. That's all.
Absolutely.
And then, listen, Bubba, love ya. Taker, you know how I feel. You guys all know how I feel about The Undertaker. But I would, with peace and love, as an almost 30-year-old woman, and most of these people are around our age. There's a few who are younger, but most of them are in
Right.
late 20s. So I would want to go with somebody like Booker, because he's been in NXT, he has his own wrestling school, he kind of knows a thing, of training.
Or two.
Mickey James too, just because she's a fucking trailblazer.
It seems like she does. Mickey has a very show not tell approach. She's given him firsthand lessons, it seems like, from what I've seen from the B-roll.
Okay. And
I guess it's A-roll technically,
and she,
but
with the experience that she has, like, in different, because she was in TNA too, so she's got like a whole bunch of different fucking experience to, like, give these. Not saying that Taker and Bubba don't, but I don't know, personality wise and who they are and how they teach. I feel like they're great teachers. Bubba and Taker, because you kind of just have to be a good teacher, and some people have that, some people don't. All
right.
That being said.
So we meet the eye mark girl, Tatiana,
Yeah.
which I was talking about last episode, that she definitely exists, and she does exist, and she also has like a mental breakdown this episode because she's a perfectionist and she keeps making small mistakes, so she starts crying at the side of the ring here. Poor Tatiana. Bubba's trying to talk to her about it. Then we see Xena, who is the Ukrainian girl.
Mm-hmm.
She's shown as a really sweet, charismatic girl.
I love
the
her.
opposite of Bubba, and they clash really well.
Love her.
She doesn't seem to take anything personally, which I like. I remember what they talked about. I think she talked about her like having this condition where she sweats a lot.
I remembered this exact because I recorded it and sent it to the group chat. He literally is like, she got done with her match. She did a good job. Bubba comes to like shake her hand. He's like, ugh, and she's like, sorry, I have a skin condition. I sweat a lot. And then Bubba goes, that's attractive. Ugh. And then he like turns away from her. Dude, I fucking love Bubba so much. He's just,
yeah,
dude, that's like something my uncle would say to me. He's just great. I fucking love him.
Yeah, he was great this episode.
Yeah.
So now they set up the matches. Why'd I put Shane? What Sean comes
Shane
out to
McMahon?
announce the? I was like, I remember Shane McMahon being.
All right, everybody. It's
wow.
Coked out 1999 Shane McMahon. Hell yeah, dude.
But Shawn Michaels comes out to announce the challenge. 4 matches. And I put, so what other matches, what other challenges are there besides just weekly matches? And like, I'm not saying I want goofy, like, when NXT was a competition show, they were like carrying barrels or talking about flowers or whatever. I don't really want that, but can you not mix it up? Like, is it going to be matches every week?
It's so discombobulated. If it had more of a structure to it, and I know we've harped on this enough, but that's my gripe.
So BJ wants to be the competitor for his team. So they all do a promo off to decide who's going to get in.
This is what I was talking about with the Louisiana guy getting nervous about
Yeah,
the promo.
I skipped through this because I don't like any of their promos, so I
Oh,
didn't
of
want to
course
hear
not.
any of it. They have to contemplate the wrestlers in this void, like a dark void area. They contemplate what wrestlers to pick. And then they go and they pick, and the choices for the first match are Tatiana and Lay Laurel. Booker T. Lay Laurel is on Booker T's team, and he uses a Bruce Lee quote to describe her,
Lee is, like Bruce Lee said, extraordinary.
which is great.
Yeah, that's great.
Thanks,
Got no words
Booker.
for that.
Then we get a choice for Jasper Troy and Chris Island. We get a package for Jasper Troy, an introduction with nothing special there, just a generic I like to wrestle, I'm an athlete package. The other one is Shiloh Hill and Troy Yearwood. So Shiloh pushes Troy, and this is meant to be a tense moment. It's what they teased for the show for this episode. But I didn't feel like it was tense at all because it was so clearly an act. Like it was like,
work.
yeah. I mean, even if it was like, even it being a work, it wasn't like convincing at all. It was just no one's like very convincing as a threat in this show.
No, it goes back to the whole like you just gotta believe in you gotta really put your whole weight into it, into being a goober. But that's scary.
Yeah.
Who wants to do that? No one.
And then the last group is Xena and Panina. So I believe the two girls were picked from Bubba's team.
Oh, okay.
And when Xena and Panina line up to pose down, Xena slaps Panina's ass for some reason.
Oh, nice. I love Panina, by the way. I love P Nasty.
But BJ, because this is a whole moment, BJ talks to Bubba about how everyone else was shit and how Tatiana cried. Fuck her. Why did I get picked? And Bubba says in a aside that it isn't personal, and then Bubba can't stop complaining or commenting on BJ's little smirk, BJ's little devilish grin. And then I don't know what I guess Booker was talking to Panina, but I put that Booker is a good match for Panina. He tells her not to play around with Xena's bullshit. And this is the first match, Xena versus Panina. Anything to say up until this point?
Just the devilish smirk thing. I don't know if you guys follow BJ Ray on Twitter. I do. Because the whole devilish smirk thing, he turned into like a Twitter little thing that he kept tweeting about that when the episode came out. And I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? Because I didn't watch the episode till like a couple days later. So I was like, okay, devilish smirk.
Little smirk.
Whatever you say, BJ Ray. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but I fucking love you, so.
Decent match here with them. Xena took a lot of abuse here. A lot of the offense was on Panina's side. And then at the end, Xena just rolled Panina up and won. I do agree with what the judges said. They said that Panina was not showing the fullest of her intensity. And I believe Panina said that if she did that, she would hurt the girls.
Yeah, she would hurt the girls.
Which, okay, I don't think that's true, but alright.
I mean, you can still be scared of doing that, though.
But yeah, Xena stayed true to her character. I thought she was good in this match. And that's why she got a sweaty handshake from Bubba.
Nice.
So next match is Jasper versus Chris Island. Chris Island is wearing a singlet and a puffy jacket. I just decided to put that. That was his attire. And I like how Booker T talks during these matches. He like talks like he's commentating.
Yeah.
Booker T's so great. He's like talking up his wrestlers. I didn't put a lot for this. I just put that the babyface wins again due to a crossbody, and that Booker claims that Jasper led Chris Island. Shiloh. The next one's Shiloh versus Troy Yearwood.
This I do.
Troy hits
I do remember a couple of things about.
Yeah, that was it was a good match. Mm-hmm. Troy hits a clean arm drag that the judges comment on. Shiloh's hair is in his face, which Undertaker hated.
Mind about, which is.
Lost his mind. That's going a little too far.
No, he did.
He was a little upset.
Maybe it's because I was on the elliptical and like it was kicking my ass, but he kept your hair. And I was like, shut the fuck up. Your hair was in your face for all of your matches. But you know what? He is speaking on experience. And he did flip his hair back quite a lot. And that's how he did the eye roll thing. Maybe Shiloh could do that. No one else is doing that right now. I mean, I don't know if Shiloh can.
Could I do the eye roll taunt?
I've been doing that for 50 years.
Troy hits a drop kick and wins. I thought it was a good match. Great match, actually. I think Troy proved a lot here.
Shiloh did a good job too, compared to
Shiloh did a good job.
Yeah.
Shouts out Shiloh, please.
Please
like
come
this
on the show.
like and share. Like and share this video, Shiloh. The last match is Lee Laurel versus Tatiana. Tatiana comes out, and I already really like her character that she's got going. She's serving cunt.
Oh my god.
Here.
Yeah.
What she is.
Yeah. Yes.
It was a really short and impactful match. Mickey said that they did what they knew how to do, and it was very effective. And I agree. I actually thought it was so short that I didn't. They were like talking it up, and I was like, wasn't it really that good? Maybe I just missed something. I had to like rewind because I was like, maybe I just missed the whole match. But it was good. It was a good match. But the results here are that the men's winners. It was a tie between Troy and Jasper. HBK has to be the tiebreaker, and he gives it to Troy Yearwood. And I think that that's deserved. I think Troy should have won that episode, and he did. The ladies' winner was harder because they were all actually good, but then Lee just wins by a landslide. Like, everyone votes for Lee. They seem to be basing the judging off of star power. That's their main factor going in, is who looks the most like a star, not who wrestles better, I guess, I mean, but okay.
That sounds about right.
But now Mickey and Booker have 1 point, and Bubba and Taker are at 0.
Sad day.
What do we got? Any overall thoughts about that episode?
It was it was fine. Not a lot of, like, super notable moments, but, I mean, maybe they're just building up to that. I have no clue. Hope so, because this show has been renewed for a second season, which is...
Already, yeah.
Which is crazy. It's only been... Well, now, today, it's 4 episodes, but that's... I mean, I guess it makes sense. You usually know if a show has a second season by, like, the first or second episode. They'll, like, announce it, because they've already been in production for it.